Well, hello there, and welcome to this week's episode of Grow Wealthy Grooming. I am your host, River Lee. I am the founder of the Savvy Groomer. This is the first time we are on a new, every week I'm like, this is the new, new setup, as always. So, long story short, I want to welcome everyone to this week's episode. I am just trying to fiddle around right now. I apologize. I thought I had everything in the way I wanted it to, but it's good enough now. And I am hoping right now that everything is going wonderful and live. I just double checked and looks like everything is ready to rock and roll. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about this week's topic, which is all about hourly versus commission and what is fair. Now I actually installed a second screen. I have a second monitor, which I'm really excited about, but I'm very confused on how to, I have my notes over at this monitor. I've got to pull it to this monitor. So give me 1 second. So hold that thought. I am so sorry, guys. Oh my goodness. And then my cat's in the way. Cat. I know. Oh, and by the way, if you guys are wondering, I am in love with this smock. This is a Jody Murphy smock. I love it. It's amazing. I'm super, super happy with it. I apologize. Nothing like going live and trying to figure things out. You know, one day, I'm going to do this right, and you're all going to be like, wow, River, you didn't screw up once. It'll be fantastic. And if you guys hadn't seen, I got myself a new tumbler. This is from our Groomer Gifts. If you guys have not heard of Groomer Gifts, so it's Groomer singular, Gifts plural. It is my company where I've actually made some products that I think are fun. So if you guys want to print your own logo on tumblers or t-shirts, I can do that. As well as there's lots of fun, different, sayings and things of that nature. So what I'm trying to do right now is pull up my YouTube. So that way, as I choke, there we go. Because I want to be able to see if people comment and talk with them. I love going live I love going live and being able to talk to people. It's so nice. This second monitor thing is gonna make me very dizzy, but it'll be good. I love it. So part of the reason I want to talk about this today so much is because every single coaching client I've been talking to, we've been having this back and forth all about how groomers want 50% and it's not sustainable. It's not really an option. So groomers will always tell you, I need to make 50%. Hey, Peter, see, I'm so glad I can say hi to everybody. I'm going to pop out my chat so now I can see y'all. Boom. Done. Solid. All right, so all of my coaching clients ask me, how do I convince groomers to accept hourly when they're used to doing commission, especially 50% commission? There's really not a lot that is in between that gap, right? Because when we talk about keeping our payroll under 30% and keeping our prices at a reasonable amount, most shops, let's say, have dogs between $50 and $75, some as low as $38. But when you do 30% of that, that doesn't leave a lot of money. For instance, I believe, and don't quote me on this because I'm pulling it out of my butt. Actually, that's what calculators are for. I'm 90% sure, and again, let me double check. But so let's say $55 times 0.3. Close. I was going to say it's about $17. So if I'm a groomer and I can groom one Shih Tzu an hour, let's say Shih Tzu because there's lots of Shih Tzus everywhere, one Shih Tzu an hour, and that dog is at 30%. That's the max I should be paying for all of my staff is 30%. Well, that means I can pay, if you can do one Shih Tzu an hour, I can pay you $16.50. Now, that is without a bather and without a receptionist. That's what's fair. And a lot of groomers are like, I'm worth $20, $25 an hour. But again, math doesn't have any feelings. So if I want to earn $25, well, let's go the easy route. So let's say $100. Let's see what we need to get to. So if one Shih Tzu an hour is $100 an hour times 0.3, I could technically pay you $30, right? So if you were grooming $100 per dog, I could technically pay you $30 an hour. But that means, again, there's no receptionist, there's no bather, there's none of that. And now he's being very fresh today. What if I was charging $80, right? So $80 times 0.3. I could pay you $24. But again, that is if you're grooming a dog an hour. If instead you're grooming 5 dogs a day, right, in 8 hours. So let's say each dog, you could literally be anywhere else except in the shop. Pardon me. So guys, let's say again, let's do for high math, the $80 per dog. And let's say you're going to do 5 dogs. So 80 times 5 is $400 a day. That is what you are grossing. So times 0.3 is $120 for the day. So if you worked 8 hours, that's $15 an hour. And again, without a bather and without a receptionist. So how do we bridge the gap? Now, Melissa Verplank has an amazing article all about what's fair. And I think what's fair really comes down to bridging that gap. The industry has not raised prices. Right now, we're in this constant struggle of, I need to increase prices, but I'm afraid to. And then also groomers saying, I deserve 50%. And so owners are stuck in the middle and they don't know what to do. First of all, most prices have not increased with inflation. If you guys have seen the Dick Van Dyke show with the Poohcock, the world's ugliest dog, which happened to be a doodle, by the way, they were charging $65 or $75 over 50 years ago for the same dog. That we are now a lot of times charging around the same price. I can't tell you how many people that are doing doodles are doing them for $75 or $95. Now, if you're going to have your prices set low, then it makes sense for you to pay commission because you're going to basically you're basically going to convince a groomer they're getting more money than they are. Especially when you do the math. Like a groomer will tell me, I earn $25 an hour. And I go, okay, at 50%, because they're grooming a $50 dog, right, every hour. And they're making $25 an hour. But what they're not including is also the time it took them to check in and out the dog, clean up, and their owners are not keeping track of their hours. And they're certainly not keeping track of their hours. And then there are those groomers that literally come in, groom, and then leave. The problem with that is that now that businesses are acknowledging the risk of being open and don't simply want to keep a business open to keep you employed, they're going to make money for being open. There's this misunderstanding from employees that the business needs an employee to stay open. Most shops are owned by groomers, so they don't really need you. It's just nice to have you. The other thing is that you guys have to remember that, and again, I know I'm going to get lots of hate for this. It is what it is. The business is open to make money. The business has to make money whether or not the employee makes money, which sounds terrible, but it is what it is. Now, you're protected by the law. The business is not necessarily protected by the law in that way. The business owner could lose money, and many business owners have lost a lot of money. A lot of business owners have lost thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars during the shutdown. And they've had it. They've had it giving someone 50% of gross profit. What a lot of groomers don't understand, and I understand why you don't understand it, it's because we're taught the wrong things. Every time I go to a grooming trade show, I am always shocked at how much stuff is crap. It's just crap. You know, they'll tell me you should pay 50% commission. There is no industry that pays 50% commission. 50% commission is a partnership. And even then, do you guys know law firms and doctors rarely keep 50% of the procedures they do? And they have to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to buy into the practice. The idea that W-2 employees deserve 50% of gross profit is insane. I have already done a video explaining why 50% is not an option. And basically it runs like this, guys. 50%, right? Then 10 to 25%, most places 15 to 25 is taxes. If you are legally filing the taxes of everything that comes into the business, you're going to pay between state and federal, unless you live, there are states that have 0%, there are da-da-da-da-da-da, but most of us, Americans, because I know Aussies pay more, Canadians pay more, but most American businesses are going to pay between 10 and 25%, the majority between 15 and 25. Okay, so of that groom, 15 to 25 of that, gone. Then that 50%, that means that they're already paying 65 to 75% just to pay you and taxes. That's it, you and the government. Then the other 25 to 35%, how much of that is going to overhead? Now, a lot of times you guys think that the overhead's not that much. You're like, well, I can go open up a shop for $2,000 a month, and I'm going to have my boyfriend, he's going to do the build out. I'm going to go to Lowe's. I can buy the cheap sticky tile for like 99 cents, da-da-da. You're absolutely right. If you do things the cheapest way possible, then yeah, you can do that. And guess what? You're more than welcome to. It's really not fair to tell your boss, hey, I can go open my own shop for this, because if you were going to do it, go do it. Go ahead. Go do it. You will also have to invest money in marketing. You will also have to put money up. So let's say a cheap build out of a shop is 10 grand. An expensive build out is $50,000 to $100,000. Then there is taxes, depending upon what taxes, not just taxes on the money they make. So where I live, I pay a 10% tangible tax. What that means is as of December 31st, every year, everything my business owns is taxed on 10%, thankfully to wherever I live, the city I live in. They're going to give me a 10% on whatever it is I own the business. So if my business right now has, let's say, $100,000 worth of assets, I will have to pay my city $10,000 on top of my other taxes. So this is part of the reason I ended up selling my home, is because I had my $100,000 grooming van. I was charged $10,000 in tangible taxes. I also had to pay excise tax, which is basically what I pay every year to park my car in that city. And that was $1,200 a year. And then what else did I have? I mean, I had all these different taxes and fees, etc. And some places have no taxes and fees, and some places have lots of taxes and fees. Generally, if you live in a richer area, you're going to have significantly more taxes and fees. Now, you can, of course, do the way where you're going to hide everything. I wouldn't do that personally. So how is this talking about if hourly or commission is fair? So when we're talking about commission, the fair commission for the business owner is 10 to 20% of the groom. And if I said that in a group, people would lose their shit. People would freaking lose their shit. Hold that thought. So some of you guys are like, that's ridiculous, 10 or 20%. But again, if I'm paying 25%, let's say in taxes, which I do, so 25% in taxes, and then if I give my groomer 10 or 20%, that's 35 to 45% of my business. That leaves me another 20 to 30% to pay on my debt, as I have a grooming van that's got to get paid off. I have to pay things like having an emergency fund. I like to have 6 months to a year's worth of personal expenses in my personal life, and expenses also to go to save the business in case things like shutdowns happen. I mean, everyone thought I was crazy to say we need 6 months to a year worth of expenses. And then since the shutdown, they're like, oh yeah, unexpected bad things. I'm like, yeah, at least now I have like something to point out. Because everyone's like, oh, we don't have forest fires. Oh, we don't have floods. So I know it sounds really negative, but this is what your boss has to pay. Your boss has all of these expenses. Also, your boss needs to be paid just for being your boss. And I don't understand why in the grooming industry, people don't understand that grooming managers should not be grooming unless if something's happening, unless if you need help and you need backup, or if someone has to go home. You know, if I own a spa, a human spa, and I'm a manager, I don't do massages and I don't do facials. I might do if I am qualified, which I would hope they hire someone who's qualified to do those things. You know, I would definitely step in if someone needed help or someone called out and I had to step up. But my job is to make sure the business runs well. And what's so interesting in the grooming industry is that we act like we don't want to be a part of the rest of the industries. We want to act like we're above it, but we're not. If you have a staff of more than 3, someone has to be there to maintain the staff and take care of everything. That's just the way it is. There are so many moving pieces in the business. Everyone wants to pretend we're just going to do our own thing and keep our head down. That's perfectly fine if you're a solopreneur. Once you start adding employees, someone has to make sure quality is there. There's no fighting. There's no issues. You need someone there who's not focusing on grooming. Because if my 2 employees are in the middle of a fight, I cannot stop my grooming, talk to them. Because now I'm going to be behind. They're going to be behind. Everything's going to fall apart. And generally in grooming shops, we ignore the drama and ignore the problems because we don't have time. With hourly, you're now more of a team. Because here's the thing, is that I teach my coaching clients to do hourly plus bonuses. The reason why is because hourly allows you to have steady income. As a groomer, grooming till you die is not an option. You need to put money away for retirement and money away from emergency fund. You need to work somewhere legal that has a W-2. God forbid you get bit. God forbid you throw your back out. You need workers' comp. You need an employer who's running their business legally. In order for them to run their business legally, they cannot give you half. I'm sorry, you can't have it all ways. You want a good boss who takes very good care of you, maybe gives you insurance, maybe gives you a 401k. Well, guess what? They can't give you half. So some young groomers are like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to burn myself out. I'm going to run myself into the ground. I'm going to groom as many dogs as I can at 50% till my body shits the bed. Okay, that sounds like a terrible plan. You know why? Because that's why we have so many people. We have more than half of the industry leave after 5 years. You know why? Because at 50%, you have to groom and groom and groom and groom and groom, right? In order to make enough money. And we've incentivized that as owners for our employees. We have taught our employees, groom as many dogs as you can. Now, there are some people who are just going to be talented. I'm not one of those talented groomers. So that's where I tend to have more compassion for the groomers that are not power groomers. A lot of my coaching clients are power groomers. And what we end up talking about is figuring out what's really fair. And it sucks because I do think that the groomer who can groom 8 to 10 dogs a day, 12 dogs a day, should be paid more. Absolutely, because they have more talent. I hate to say it, they are more talented than I am. I cannot groom 10 dogs a day. That's not true. I probably could if I really had to, but I couldn't do it consistently without burning out, right? So that person that is just that person should be paid more than somebody who grooms 5 dogs. And if I get 40%, whether I do 4 dogs or 10 dogs, someone's going to say, well, doesn't that make it fair? It does and it doesn't. Because the person who's going to overstretch themselves is going to end up burnt out, or they're going to push their work on somebody else. As somebody who's worked in enough salons, what ends up happening is that groomer who can groom 10, 12, 14 dogs, the owner's going to throw them on and be like, well, she can do them. Please do them because that's money in my pocket. And then what happens is that groomer starts falling behind. And they go, hey, River, can you take that dog out for me and just brush it real quick? Now, I'm a pretty nice person. I know some of you guys are like, no, River's kind of a bitch, but that's not totally true. I'm only a bitch if you deserve it. So what ends up happening is someone like me is going to be like, oh, yeah, I mean, you're doing 14 dogs. Good Lord. Let me pull it out and do it. But what's going to happen is after doing that every day, you're going to get really fucking sick of it. You can get super, super sick of it. So sick of it. And I'm going to say, no, you're getting the commission for that dog. You do it. And now there's a fight. Or I'm going to say, why do I only do 4 dogs, but I have to do all the bad dogs, right? Because I get 40% commission whether I do the bad dogs or the good dogs or the big dogs. And most of the big dogs for y'all are not good money. So during one of my calls today, we talked about a groomer who's charging. Now she's not charging. She's hiring somebody who's charging right now for a very large doodle. Now they don't do the dog straight through, but 100-pound doodle. And realistically, that dog takes 3 hours. Now, if you're charging $55 an hour for a Shih Tzu, then a 3-hour doodle, as we know, should be a lot more. But this groomer charges $120. But if you divide that by 3 hours, that's $40 an hour before all of the other, before paying out the groomer and the overhead. And that dog is dangerous, not because it's aggressive. And that dog can throw your back out. I mean, we all have funny videos or funny, not funny hot, but it's pretty funny. When the dogs, like stupid doodles, jump off the table. I call it Supermaning. Just like, whee! And they take the whole grooming arm with them. And $40 an hour sounds like a lot until you realize that your grooming arm was probably $200, $300. So if that one dog breaks something, if that dog throws your groomer's back out, that dog's going to require 2 groomers to lift in the tub, potentially on the table. Might need a second groomer to hold it. So this is where hourly helps the employee and the owner. If you're being paid hourly and your owner asks you to stay later, you can say yes because you're not going to get paid more. But if your owner asks you to just do another dog, that's why we have minimums and maximums. Hourly allows your owner to do the right thing. Get the right insurance. Hopefully be able to pay for health insurance. Get you a 401k. Y'all need to start saving for retirement. Our bodies are not machines. You're going to break down. Well, even then, machines break down, but it's not that easy to fix it. What happens with commission is it encourages us to groom and to groom and to groom, and you just get on this cycle. Hourly encourages you to do the right thing for your body, listen to your body, and it allows your owner to, yes, they want to groom more dogs, but that's also where I teach my coaching clients how to give bonuses. Because let's say someone hires you at $17 an hour. That sounds like that really blows, right? But they're going to base it on you grooming, let's say 6 dogs a day. Not a lot of dogs. And so once you start grooming 20% more than you're required to, now you start getting a bonus. So when you add in the bonus, because you've gone above and beyond, no different than you would have if you had commission, then let's say you get an additional bonus at the end of the month that pushed your $17 an hour up to $23 an hour. Well, then that was worth it, wasn't it? Because now you're making $23. The owner needs something to prove that you're going to work hard, and the employee needs something to guarantee it. I love doing hourly. So for instance, my groomer, now, as you guys know, I just sold my business. So it's a little bit off, but when I had my business, which is so weird because it's only been like 4 days, what I did is that this is your hourly, this is your day. If you get done early, go home early and I will still pay you the same amount of hours. So if I asked a groomer to groom 6 dogs in 8 hours, she finished her 6 dogs in 5 hours, what do I care? What do I care? Right? I don't have to worry about it. She did them earlier, right? Now, she has the opportunity then to say, hey, I'm going faster. You're only giving me 6 dogs. I'd love to do 8 or 10 and work my full 8 hours. And I know, because that's the way hourly plus bonuses work, that at the end of the month, if I do that consistently, I'm going to get a nice fat bonus check. I also encourage them to have individual as well as team bonuses. With team bonuses, it allows you to work together as a team. And if everyone does their part, then you get more stuff, whether it's money or girls' nights or lunch on Saturday, whatever it is. There's lots of options like that, guys. And it's really hard to decide what's fair. But what's not fair is 40 or 50%. 40 or 50% is the reason so many shops are going under. They cannot give you half of their gross profit. The places that can, it's either the groomer is grooming, and one day they're going to want to slow down or retire, and the business is going to close because they can't carry the business anymore. It can also be that the owner, this is a hobby. Some groomers are hobby groomers, and there's nothing wrong with that. And they're like, well, my husband already pays the bills, or, I'm already retired. I was an executive and now I don't need the money. So come hang out and groom at my shop. They're basically buying their friends, and that's fine. But if you work for that groomer, then you can't compare that to somebody like me, who I'm a single mom. I have to make money. Whether I'm in my van or I'm doing something on the business, I need to make a living. I can't afford to not do that. So that said, that's not easy. So there has to be some give and take between the employees of the industry and the owners. And what's fair is always going to be a fight. That's what I had the front picture about. Is owners are saying groomers are greedy, they're unreasonable, they won't listen, they just want my money, da 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 da. You have groomers who are like, owners are greedy, they just want me to work me to death, ba da ba da ba. We've got to come together as a group. I think there are so many groomers who'd be much happier as hourly employees. Now, can you make more hourly? Absolutely, but it's got to make sense. And this is up to owners to increase prices. $55. Now, my shop I opened up over 10 years ago. About 10 years ago now. And I started rock bottom. Like, it's embarrassing. Like, we started $35 and, $25 if you came in once a month, because I was poor and desperate, and that's what poor, desperate people do. Is we say, whatever comes in, I will groom. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. So that said, I understand. I really do. It does you no good. So owners need to increase prices, not to give you guys more commission, but to give you a better hourly. Because I agree. I'd like to see groomers at $25 or $30 an hour. But doing the math, guys, again, with no bather and no receptionist and no manager, the highest they can pay you is 30%. And again, guys, at $100 and 30% means every dog, they have $30 worth of payroll that they can do. If they pay you $25, that's it. There's no more money. Especially where minimum wage in most areas is $15 an hour. They can hire 2 minimum wage people. Okay? And it's not their fault that minimum wage keeps going up. $15 an hour seems like a great option. But just like the woman I was talking to today that was doing my nails, the more minimum wage goes up and services does not skyrocket to keep up with it, the harder and harder it is for an employer. So if we had a $120 dog times 0.3, they have $36. Now, that will pay you your $25, and then it leaves $11 for a bather or a receptionist. It's not a lot of money, guys. It's not a lot of money, and it's not their fault. That's $120 a dog. So, and that's a Shih Tzu price, right? Because that's for a dog that takes an hour. So, owners, and I should say salon owners, mobile owners, business owners, and groomers need to stop fighting. We need to figure out how to come together. I would love to see more business owners raise their prices and start offering hourly legal employment. And I would like a lot of you groomers to consider, if you're going to work for somebody who gives 50%, wonder what it is about that business that is going wrong. Now, a lot of times we say, they're fine, they're successful. There are a lot of people that are liars. I could tell you so many, and again, it's not me calling anyone out. But I really am so sick of people saying, oh, I make this, I do that, I'm so wonderful. And then they talk to me and they're like, I have zero retirement. I have no savings. I have all this debt and my business doesn't make any profit. But then I see the same person who admits that to me in these Facebook groups, sitting there like, I'm wonderful. That's bullshit. Stop being an asshole. Can't stand it. People like to puff, if you've ever heard that term, guys. Puffing is like, it's a beautiful waterfront view. And it looks out at a reservoir. Not like a pretty reservoir, but like a sinkhole. These things are not always true. You can't trust what people say. And honestly, I wouldn't worry about what other people are doing. Because a lot of them are going to go out of business. A lot of them are going to be illegal. A lot of them are going to be running their business disgustingly. I can't, there's a local business that's like top in the state, in my state. And it's so gross inside. It is so gross. Like, her tables she just gets plywood from like Lowe's. And like, so time the dog, and they're uncured. So when dogs pee or poo or there's a quick nail, just soaks up in the wood, and she just tosses the tabletop every year and puts a new one down. And do you think owners know any better? No. And do you think the owners know she washes dogs in dawn? No. Do you think the owners know that she doesn't, like, she just literally hooks the dogs up on a choke chain to the wall? No. Bunch of box fans in front of them? No. And, it's not my business, so it's not my business. But do I think that if she told her customers any of that stuff, she would be open? No. So that person can pay 50%. And what's funny is that every groomer that leaves there says how awful it is. But then they want the same pay rate, And I know it's tough to know it's fair. And I feel like in this whole conversation, I haven't answered the question. Because the answer really isn't there yet. Could it be there in the future? Absolutely. Right now, I don't think there's anything that's clear cut that's fair. I think it's really unfair how quickly minimum wage is going up. I think it's really unfair how prices for grooming has not gone up with inflation. But I blame a lot of that on us as an industry. I got my nails done. I went to the chiropractor today and I went and got my nails done. My nails, which took an hour, were $40. How does she make a living? Honestly, it's because all of her employees are illegal. None of them are. We talked about it. She said, oh yeah, they come here on a visa so I don't have to pay them. And I'm like, that's not legal. And that's fine, because you know what? That's her business. And when I point out that I don't really want to support that, then I have to make a decision for my own, right? Because then I have to say to myself, do I care to get a cheap manicure at a place that is running illegally or is doing something I don't feel like is moral? That's on me as a consumer to decide. But we don't really offer that to the public. People don't realize that we're not even licensed and that groomers aren't licensed. So the whole industry needs to change as a whole. And it's not my job to change the whole industry. All I can do is explain to you guys why things are messed up. So the answer to hourly versus commission, what is fair? I think hourly is fair as long as it is done that benefits both parties. Because as an owner, you want your employees happy. And as a groomer, you want your owner to make enough money to stay open. We have to work together. And if you don't like it, go open your own. Go do it. You get to then work grooming, which you're going to groom 30 to 40 hours a week. And then you're going to spend an average of 10 to 30 hours doing all the other stuff. So if you want to do the same job you're doing and invest $100,000 in a grooming van or a business, and then work 20 to 30 hours a week for free, because that's what your marketing, your cleanup, any of those other things you have to do to build up your business, or have your husband come and work with you, or your boyfriend or your kids, which I've done, work for you for free and pick up that slack. Now, for some of us, that makes sense. I've done that a lot. But do I expect an employer to do the same things that I would do for me? No. And the same thing, if I'm an employer, do I expect my employee to work as hard as I do? No, because she's an employee. And that if she wanted to open her own business, she would. So I hope this has been a little helpful. I know it's pretty controversial. I think we can bridge the gap. I think we can figure out a way to make owners more happy and groomers more stable. I think we can bridge the gap. I want to give a shout out to Melissa Hall. She's in Yuma, Arizona, and she teaches cat grooming, but she's been a second generation dog groomer. She's amazing. She's owned her shop forever. She has her employees on hourly, and she has so much knowledge on how to do that legally. She's wonderful. She's a great resource for that. I can't say enough good things about her, but that is an option. And I think that if employees keep pushing owners to pay 50%, then what's going to end up happening is that places are not going to hire people. Especially now with COVID, they're going to just go solopreneur. And that is bad for the industry, because if a place wants to hire 3 to 5 groomers and it ends up making more sense to just hire them, that means 3 to 5 people are going to end up at Petco, PetSmart, or out of a job. Guys, just think about the long-term ramifications and say to yourself, what's really fair? And it has to be somewhere in the middle. And I know a lot of groomers want to be paid, they'll tell you like $20 to $30 an hour. Okay, but that you have to groom a lot of dogs, or your prices have to be much higher. And getting 50% is not a pay rate. I can't go to a loan officer and they say, okay, how much do you make? And I say 50%. Okay, well, is 50% $20,000? Is 50% $30,000, $50,000, $100,000? And, generally, this is why I tell people to go work for corporate in the beginning. Get your 401k started. Get this, because corporate literally makes $0. They lose money grooming. And they use the crappiest shampoos, guys. They're such a bad example of the industry. I mean, they're nothing like any shop, except for people that work in corporate and then try to make it work. And then they're like, why am I losing money? I just followed what Petco PetSmart's doing. And I'm like, yeah, they're losing money. It's called a loss lead. They lose money on the grooming salon in order to bring people in to buy dog food and training and toys and treats. They make more money selling a bag of dog food and like 2 bags of treats than they do on that entire grooming. I mean, just think about it, guys. So now that I've depressed the shit out of you, let's talk about how you can spend time with me more. So I want you guys to consider joining my free Facebook group, Savvy Pet Professionals. Hopefully it is streaming live in there. That would be fun. I hope it is. It was going to be working earlier. That's where you can network. We talk about personal, finance, business, and lifestyle. I'm going to be doing lots more in the group now in 2021. I'm really excited about that. If you are wondering how you can work with me, a lot of people want to know how they can, work with me one-on-one or in my other products. I really specialize in finding some work-life balance in my business membership, which is just Savvy Groomer's business membership. We do a once a month workshop where it's live. This month is going to be all about personal organization, as in getting your mindset on right. And that is only $35 a month. You can always purchase each workshop individually for $47 to $97, depending upon how long the workshop is. But I find that the membership is a much better deal. Now, if you're wondering, okay, I need to transition my employees to hourly and they're all commission, or I want to increase, I'm a solopreneur and I want to add employees, but I want to do it hourly, I would highly suggest you sign up for my one-on-one business coaching. It will take several months to get what you want done with employees, whether, that is figuring out the best practices to hire, how to interview, how to go ahead and create a team of people that you can trust That does take several months, but it's a great investment. Hiring the right team is invaluable, and having the right mindset around a team is invaluable. And then if you wonder, how the hell am I going to pay for all that? No worries. I have my online course called Personal Finance on a Leash, where in 12 weeks, we teach you how to earn more. Not really earn more. It's more about keeping the money you earn. So, like we said, how we said all those percentages, we talk about how to allocate that money and put that money to make it work better. And understanding how your relationship with money and all of that. Now, the doors are currently open. Our next live boot camp is on January 18th. On January 18th, our doors close for 3 months. And then we will open it up again in April. I'm going to start doing it this way. That way I can focus when the lives are happening on coaching the people in the group. And then when everything rolls back around, I will open it again. But then when we start doing the lives again, I will go ahead and close up that. Right now, the bonus for Personal Finance on a Leash is that you will get 3 months of my Groomer Financial Mastermind, where we're going to go a deep dive into credit and credit repair, buying property, whether that's commercial, looking at leases, super saving to, like I said, buy a home or put down on a van. We have a lot to cover, and so you're going to get 3 months of that for free. And just so you guys know, a year for the mastermind. Now you have to go through Personal Finance on a Leash though to qualify for the mastermind. But the mastermind is $1,200 to pay for the year in full, $1,800 in payment plans, or it is $250 a month if you want to pay month to month. So this is a great deal because Personal Finance on a Leash is only $597. So I know, and super duper excited. I'm like, so much to talk about. So I want to announce here, and then I'm going to make sure I have everything ready. Savvy Groomer is going to be doing a very small business retreat, July 12th through 16th in Newport, Rhode Island. I am so excited about this, like super excited about this. First of all, as you all know, Newport is my happy place. And it's going to be a Monday to a Friday morning. So we're going to have midweek. It's going to be 4 nights, 5 days, and 2 days of full classes that you're welcome to hang out with us and do. Or if you want to go hit the beach, hit the beach. Now, we're not going to be on the beach. We're going to be on Thames Street, historic Thames Street. So there's going to be shopping and food. We're going to be, it's a Newport town. It's kind of hard to explain. So it's like, you can go, there's places to go parasailing or go on a sailboat if you want. So it's going to be a great time. Now, this house that I'm renting is very small. We only have 3 bedrooms. And then I'm also allowing 3 other people to go ahead and audit. So what that means is that each bedroom is $2,500. Now, if you want to add a second person to your bedroom and split your bedroom, then it would be an additional $500. That said, there's only 3 bedrooms. So once they're gone, they're gone. That's it. Actually, there's 4 bedrooms, but I'm in the other bedroom. I would like to stay with the people. Because I wanted to keep it small and because I didn't know how many people were going to go, I decided to do 3 auditing. Now, to audit it, it is $1,500. You're going to be welcome to hang out in the house with us, watch the classes. If we decide to go out for dinner, you're welcome to come with us. If we're going to go do fun activities, you're welcome to come with us. However, you will need to stay off property. Now, this is great if you're already a Rhode Islander, because I know who doesn't live in Rhode Island needs to understand the whole state is 45 minutes long. So, if you want to stay home and then come and hang out with us, that's great. Alternatively, you guys can rent another Airbnb or another hotel room. I will warn everyone who thinks this is the cheaper option that the bedroom is $2,500. Most places in Newport per night on the low end, like a cheap hotel, like a motel, is $300 to $400 a night. On the high end, within walking distance of where we're going to be, it's probably $600 to $1,000 a night. So make sure you check availability wherever you're going to go first before deciding to do the auditing. because the auditing may end up costing you a lot more than you anticipate. But I want to offer those two things because I want to make sure that people have the opportunity. So the max amount of people we will have for this retreat is 10, including me, and the minimum we will have is 4. So either way, we win. It's going to be a nice, small, tight group. We're going to be able to go out together if we want to go out, if we want to stay in. The house is super cute. So if you guys are interested in that, go ahead and PM me, whether at the Savvy Groomer or on my page, profile, whatever. And like I said, I have 3 spots. And once they are gone, they're gone. That's it. I may do a second one, but honestly, I highly doubt it. This is not going to make me a lot of money. It's just more, I need me some girl groomer time. I want to chill and hang out and talk business for 4 days. And honestly, have some wine. I will say, because we are going to have, I am going to supply wine and minor cordials. You do need to be 21 years or older to come. But I was so excited. Erin's like, I was so excited. Like, full excited. So I can't wait for all of that, guys. I'm really excited. In the meantime, enjoy everything. I'm really excited for Personal Finance Unleashed to start again. I'm excited, with the retreat and everything going on. Everything's just great, man. All good. It's all good, So, guys, have a great evening. And as always, happy grooming.